Good evening to you, and you. You like my Blackhawks? Wow, what a show we have for you today. Hello again, everyone. This is Ziff Sistrunk live. We always start our show off with a moment of silence for people who have lost their lives to violence here in the city of Chicago and in the county and in the state. And in our own households, we always like to start off with a moment of silence in the United States. We're going to start off with a moment of silence for people who have lost their lives since we last saw you. We thank you. And again, my name is Ziff Sistrunk, and I am the host and the executive director, the national director, by the way, of an organization that is called Greenslate, which is an organization that works with ex-felons here in the city of Chicago and in the state of Illinois, and especially here in Cook County and in the city of Chicago. Now we have three goals, those of us who work with Greenslate. It's a small board, it's a small organization, but yet we are effective. And we have some simple goals that we set out to achieve and to accomplish. And let me just give them to you, those of you who can grab an ink pen and some paper. So, sort of like reporting to school for the next 30 minutes. Again, my name is Ziff Sistrunk, and I'm the national director. How are you, Mr. Hank Jackson? We're also, you can tune in to us on CAN TV, channel 21. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook. Let me go back to again, what is it that Greenslate does? Greenslate. It's never too late. Greenslate. Okay? Say it one more time. Oh, upside down. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. My technician over here. That's a little bit better. Just give you a logo. This is a program that we recently produced, Greenslate. 5 days of redemption for ex-offenders. Now, let me tell you what we do exactly. First, again, my name is Ziff Sistrunk, and I'm the national director of Greenslate. Now, what does Greenslate do? Greenslate does three things. We deal with what is called re-entry. George Bush, of all people, who would believe George Bush would be the ones that was instrumental in starting the program for ex-offenders? Let me tell you why George Bush did it. The story that I've heard him say out of his own mouth. How you doing, Rich? And Daniel, nephew, good to see you. We're also streaming live, and those can tune in on channel 21. George Bush would say he was in a hotel one time and he was drinking, and Billy Graham was on TV. And he said he went to see Billy Graham, and Billy Graham saved him. So in his inaugural address, if you listen to George Bush, he said that there should be a second chance, because George Bush, who is an admitted alcoholic, and he'll tell you, he always makes speeches about that. He started a program called Second Chance, him and Danny Davis. And Second Chance is for people that are coming home. They're supposed to be given educational opportunities and opportunities to get back into the mainstream of society. So Greenslate does three things. What we do is, one of them is how government works. Like, if you need to know how your alderman is elected, why you are voting, what effects does voting have, how does voting translate into playgrounds and better housing and better traffic flowing, transportation in your community. That's what voting, some of the things that voting does. That's one of the things we do with re-entry. Then the second thing we do is what you see right here. We have ex-offenders to learn how television works, how media. We have an internet page, the Harvey Evening Post and the WZASTV.com. And the third thing we do is baseball, sports, and recreation. See this old man, how fit I am? Let's see how they do that. How do you do that? Like this? Thanks for the uniform. So we work on fitness and recreation, and we have job opportunities within that framework. We work with baseball leagues, like in Jackson Park, there's a baseball league out there. Sean and Daryl Robinson have a league called the MSLBA, and they start in April, I think, or May. And then there's a league in Washington Park called Azteca Baseball League, in which we work with them in maintaining the baseball fields and some promotional stuff. Now, the three goals of those three programs are these three goals. Okay, are you keeping up with me, you guys at home? Let me go back and recap for you one more time. The three things that Greenslate, it's never too late. Always remember that, no matter what you did, no matter how long ago it was or how recent it was. Believe me, it's never too late to reconvene, to reconcile, and redemption is always handy. Now let me go back again for the three things that Greenslate do. One of them is how government works. Media. We have a caller. Caller, you wanna jump in? Caller, is the caller there?
Yes.
Hi, how
How
are
you
you, sir?
doing? Fine. This is Ray. You know, you're up there every week talking how the perfect world works, but it doesn't work like that in the real world because the people put the people in office. So how do you expect any better if you keep putting the same people in there that don't do anything and all you do is complain? You know, it's for the name, it's for the color. You know, that's crazy. Vote for the person who could help you. If you don't do that, you could talk all the rest of the year, next year, the following year, and nothing will change.
So,
Vote for the people that can help you. Period.
so let me ask you something. Obviously, you're a person who is astute to when it comes to political. Let me run this by you one quick time because I was getting ready to tell you the three things we do because this is tied into what you're saying. We're trying to pass policy that will allow you to vote because you were just talking about who we should be voting for, right? We want the judges to be moved to the front of the ballot. We want you to be able to vote for judges first. Now, why do I say that, caller? Here's the reason why I say that right here. Look at this case right here. Here's a case that was just ruled the other day where these four young men got 30, did you hear that? 31 million dollars from the city of Chicago for wrongfully convictions. That's why we call it, that's why we want the judges to be moved to the front of the ballot because a judge will have something to say about your life way before a police officer or, well, not necessarily a police officer, someone that. So we want judges to be moved to the front of the ballot. You think that's a good idea, Mr.
You
Corbin?
know, that's a great idea. But if you don't put the right people in office that don't get any jobs for you or don't do anything else for you, that put these people in the street that get in trouble or don't get in trouble, wrongly convicted, that's what's going to happen. You have to start slow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then work your way up to the judges because then they'll understand what the aldermen want. Because right now, they don't care about the aldermen. They don't care. All they do is care about conviction. So if you stop that, start from the bottom and work your way up, then maybe, just maybe this will be a perfect world. I love my city, Chicago. I was born here 69 years ago, a Vietnam vet. I just don't like the way things are going right now. I didn't go and fight for this kind of country.
Let me ask you something, and I thank you.
Go ahead.
I really think it's a cliche that when people say thank you for serving, but I really mean it because I don't say it much to people because people say it and I don't know. A veteran, Dave Phillips, was sitting with me yesterday, and he said, "What about these people that's always talking about jobs for veterans?" And Dave Phillips tell me that there's a problem with jobs for veterans out there. Have you found that problem to be the case?
You know, I'm a retired CPA bus driver. So I had a...
Landry Reed, hopefully you're
But
enjoying
for
this, Landry
other-
Reed.
But for other veterans, sure, why should people who never worked a day in their life get Section 8, get food stamps, get everything free, and a veteran can't get a damn thing?
Wow. We're also, guys, those of you who are watching us live, you can call us on the air at 312-738 1060. That's again Landry Reed. I would love to hear from you. 312-738-1060 is our call-in line. Again, this is Ziff Sistrom.
Thank you so
My
much.
favorite caller, he was talking about he served, and he's saying that what we're doing, what you're telling me we're doing is we're electing the wrong officials. Is that what you're telling me we're doing wrong? Mr. Caller? Okay, we've lost our caller. Let's get back. Again, here's a case that really disturbs me, this case here. I'm tired. I am really, 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 really tired of these lawsuits. I can't get funded for my summer baseball program because so many lawsuits. This is what we're talking about, you guys that are watching us on Facebook. $31 million. How can we get our budget back in sync? So here's the solution that we have. One of them is vote for judges first. We want the judges moved to the front of the ballot. That's one of the things. We want judges moved to the front of the ballot. That's A. We want judges moved to the front of the ballot. We want to vote for judges first, not for judges second and third, and then at the end of the time when you go through 100 names, now you're looking at judges. So we want to vote for judges first. Then the next thing we want to do, why is it there's an Illinois Board of Elections, a state Board of Elections, a city Board of Elections, and a Cook County Board of Elections? We only need one Board of Election, Landry. We don't need all those Board of Elections. Those of you who are watching us at home, you can call us at 312-738-1060. Those of you who are watching us live, you can call in too and get in on it on the calls. Again, this is Ziff Sistrom. We're talking about three things that Greenslate does. One, we want judges to be moved to the front of the caller. We have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, and good evening. Thanks for taking the call. And let me wish all your listeners a wonderful holiday coming. But listen, I'm a man just like you. I love baseball. I mean, I started
Fred,
my
we're
life,
on the air, Fred.
I started my life.
I'm on the air, Fred. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I started my life in Washington Park. That's where my life started with baseball. I'm a type of man, I believe you put a ball and a bat and a glove in a man's hand, and it's going to stop crime a little. But yet still they steady taking this away. They build a lot of soccer teams, places to play soccer, but they don't make anything for baseball. But
Now, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. You say you played in Washington Park.
yes, I did.
And what year did you play in Washington Park, if you don't mind me asking?
In the 50s.
And what was some of the teams that was out in Washington Park when you played in Washington Park, if you don't mind me
The
asking?
Bears, the Colts, the Lions, things of that nature. But listen, what I'm about to say to you, let me finish saying that. There's a lot of people also that's in prison that don't have no business being locked up.
So how do we resolve that?
Well, we got to resolve both of them. I mean, let me see. I don't have no loved one that's in prison, but I've seen it. People that's in jail, locked up. This is another call. Don't worry about it. I'm going to stay on. And they locked up. People go to prison for a traffic violation. They come out, they're addicted to drugs. It's many things. That penal system needs to be torn down and start over. But again, for our people, you don't see them playing ball. Don't you remember going to school, in grammar school, you get up there early in the morning, play strikeout? Every park in the world had a baseball game going on. But they don't want to play ball now. Only thing they want to do, they want to be a rapper and play basketball. Listen, again, thanks for taking the call. Let me get out there and hear your response.
And before you leave, I want to say something to you, and I'm serious. We have just started a Washington Park, Jackson Park Sports Museum Hall of Fame. We need to talk to you. Me and Billy Beane. I played for King Boot. King Boot had the Giants. There was a team.
What year was this?
Well, Billy came out there in the 60s. I came in the 70s. But we need to know that time in the 50s. See, you know teams that I didn't know because I wasn't there in the 50s. So that's why we need to talk to you to get that history, because we're fighting for the history over in the Obama Library. They're wiping our two diamonds out. And I'm sure that you guys came over there too in the 50s at Jackson Park. So they want to wipe our history out in Jackson Park like it doesn't matter, and want to build his history up. So what I'm doing is that I'm putting together the history of Washington Park and Jackson Park. Double duty played over there, and I'm sure if you all
Yeah,
ventured
everybody
over
know
there
who
from
Double
Washington
Duty
Park
was.
also.
But listen, he got my phone number. Be glad to take the call.
Very good, and I would love to sit down and talk to you. And thank you again for your
Sure.
call, our greatest caller of the week.
All right.
Again, this is Ziff Sistrunk. We are live here in the city of Chicago at CAN TV, and we're talking about issues that affect you in your life every day here in the city of Chicago, in the county, and in the state of Illinois. I am Ziff Sistrunk, the National Director of Greenslate Institute for Justice. And there's 3 things that we do, and 3 goals that we have, and 3 achievements that we seek to achieve. And one of them is the reentry law. When people come home, we want to give them opportunities. And media, such as I've gotten right here, we want to give them opportunities as how government works, how people are elected. And the next thing we want to do is give them opportunities for employment. We have a caller. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm there. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Who am I talking to?
Yes, I'm here.
Billy, can you hear me? Billy, can you hear me, Billy?
Yes, I can hear you.
Billy, we just had a guy on the show,
I
Billy.
can hear you.
I know, I'm talking to you, Billy. We just had a guy on the show to say he played with the Colts. The Colts.
We just had a guy on the show to say he played with the Colts.
And in the 50s, Billy, I'm doing my show at CAN TV. Can I call you afterwards?
Oh, me?
I'm on channel 21. I'm talking to you, Billy.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I wasn't here up. Okay, I wasn't here.
I'm doing my show on CAN TV,
I
channel
wasn't here in
21.
the 50s, but I know in the 62, it was so many baseball teams in Washington Park.
Yeah.
And
Billy, he said he played for the Colts, Billy.
I remember the Colts. They were still out there in 62.
Well, he said to get the gentleman that just called in say he played for the Colts. He said he played for the Colts, and I told him to leave his number so I can talk to him because I told him we're recording the history. We're recording the history of Washington Park, and we wanted to talk to him. Now, what he asked, what year did you come out there, Billy? What year did you come to Washington Park?
I come to Washington Park in 62.
In 1962. And what were
Yeah.
some of the teams that was out there then, Billy?
Oh, well, you had, yes. Well, Mr. Boot King had the Giants. Woody had the Sputniks. And Leroy Daniel had the Pirates.
The Sputniks, I heard you say the Sputniks.
And a team from Robin.
And we had the Raiders. Don't forget
And the Raiders,
Preacher
you had the
Raiders.
The Lions.
Wow, all of that history in Washington Park. You're listening to Billy Beane, a historic and a
also
Go ahead, Billy.
yeah.
Billy, do me a favor, Billy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I just want to introduce yourself. You're listening to Billy Beane, a historic coach from Washington Park who has a team named the Pirates. Now, there was 2 historic teams named the Pirates out there, Billy, because you always had the Pirates, and then Askew had a Pirate.
That's true.
And now wait a minute, there was another Pirate. Michael Jackson had a Pirate. Him and JB have a Pirate.
But that was later.
I know, but still, there was 3 Pirates. So that's when we talk about all of the history of Washington Park and Jackson Park. You look at those, just look at the Pirates. There was the Kirby Puckett Askew Pirates. There was the Billy Beane Pirates from the 70s and the 60s. Then in the 80s and 90s, you got the Pirates that exist now, the Michael Jackson Pirates. You see, Billy?
Yes.
And then you said the same thing with the Dodgers.
Right.
You had the West Side Dodgers,
Yeah,
and
the
then you
South
had the Claudel changed his team from the
Right,
Dales to the Dodgers.
Yes.
Now, which team did Kirby Puckett play for?
Kirby Puckett played for Askew Pirates.
That's right, Askew Pirate. Askew owned a pool hall on 43rd, and Kirby Puckett played. Now, who are some of the other people on that team?
On 43rd Street. Yes.
Right, Freeman Fulwiley was on that team. What's the boy, the umpire that went to Phillips?
Yes, it was.
Freeman, Don Welch was on that team. What about that boy that pitched, that old man we always talk about pitching out there, Mel? Mel Jam was on that team.
Mel J was on that team.
What about Wayne Williams? Was Wayne on that team?
Wayne Williams was on the Pirates.
Now, Tony Hubbard didn't play for them, right?
Tony Hubbard was on that Pirates too. Yeah.
Okay, we gotta get,
He played with them a while.
okay. You're listening to Ziff Sistrunk, National Director of Greenslate Institute for Justice. We got a great man on baseball and a historian, Billy Beane, on the air. Billy Beane is from the Roseland community. He lives out there now. He works with the Alderman Anthony Beale, and they keep baseball going on the south side of Chicago. Now, Billy, you all still have the baseball diamond on 122nd.
Now, Billy, you all still have the baseball diamond on 122nd.
Of course.
Okay, and then I've heard they made some improvements to Gwendolyn Brooks Stadium also.
Yeah, right.
And then you guys are building another stadium out there near the expressway to Bishop Ford, right?
Yes.
Wow. Billy Beane is the coach, and we were talking about the history of Jackson
true,
Park
yeah.
and Washington Park. Now, where did you all play this summer, Billy?
We played at Tinley Park.
Okay, and how many teams did they have out there, Billy?
The 18.
And how did you guys do this year, Billy?
Well, we did good till we got to the playoffs, and we just lost out.
We're talking to Billy Beane, one of the historic coaches, and we were just talking about the Jackson Park, Washington Park, history of baseball. That's one of the components. But real quickly, Billy, I was telling them at home that we want people to start voting for the judges first, because a judge can affect your life way before a police officer or a president or someone like that. So what we're saying is people should be allowed to vote for judges first. Then the other thing is what we're pushing, Billy. If you say you're a homeowner, Billy, and you're on fixed income, and you got a fine for not cutting your grass for $200, and you're a senior citizen and you can't pay for it, Billy, we're saying that you should be able to go to some senior citizen club or some Meals on Wheels or some park district with senior citizens or something like that, and you should be able to allow to work off that money that you owe the city of Chicago for your community service hours. What do you think of that idea, Billy Beane?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, and then also, people are sick, Billy. We have another caller, Billy. We have a caller. Caller, go ahead, caller.
Hey, listen, I heard you talking to the other gentleman.
Oh, now hold it. Let's see if Billy can hear you. Billy, can you hear that caller?
Yes, I can.
Okay, now, Billy, listen, Billy. That's the gentleman from Washington Park. But, Billy, I need you to turn your TV down so you can listen into the phone, because I want you to hear him. Sir, we have Billy Beane. Billy Beane say he came out to Washington Park in the 60s.
Yeah, well, listen, 59 we started there. Kirby Puckett came from the south side. Kirby Puckett played Southside Little League out of Coles Park.
Billy, can you hear him?
He went from Coles Park out to Tully Park. When we was playing, you went straight from Little League to Pony League. Pony League then was out there in Tully Park. I remember that's before Polk Brothers put that little baseball diamond out there behind Polk Brothers. But
now, where was Polk Brothers factory, or where was that at? Because I like to see if that ballpark is still out there.
85th and Cottage Grove. They still got the park over there.
Oh, it's behind the mall there.
Right. Matter of fact, I coached over there for a little while for Southside. Southside now runs out of Coles Park and Tully Park, the Little League team.
Do you have any pictures of yourself when you was in the baseball?
I had some. I had my wife to try to look for some things. I wish it could, but I'm going to name some players, the coaches. Mr. Smith, he used to coach the Giants. He's dead. Ira Hunter, he was a police officer, and he coached the Colts, and he's dead. Majority, all the coaches are dead now. And, it's not but a few of us still together that we see each other and speak, 'cause we played ball. From there, most went to Hirsch. Then we went to college. We went to Arizona. And some of us got lucky and had some plays, a little time at AAA ball. But, again, the most important thing, especially in the black neighborhood, was baseball. I mean, we played in the alleys. We played behind the school. We played behind the grocery store. Strikeout was the biggest thing. I remember when you couldn't go and play ball up there on 71st and King Drive, it was South Park then. We used to have to play in the alley. Then Daddy O'Daly made that softball team up there. And that's how black people started getting up there. But again, the greatest moments in the world is baseball.
Wow.
Like I said, if you could give a kid a ball, a bat, and a glove, you could stop these game problems and would keep you out of trouble. It sure enough kept me out of trouble.
Well, we're going to end on that because I personally can tell you that is a fact. I started playing Little League. I never played Little League. I played strikeout because I lived on 43rd and Langley, and we couldn't go to 44th because the warlords cut us off. We couldn't go to Cottage Grove because the folks had us and couldn't go that way. So we was trapped on 43rd and Langley, where I was able to learn to play strikeout on Forestville Upper Grade Center Wall. And boy, I was a good pitcher and a good hitter. And my mom always said, if a task once begun, never leave it till it's done. Bid the labor, big or small, do it well or not at all. This has been Ziff Sistrom, the National Director for Greenslate, saying thank you and see you next week.